All right, everybody. Hi. Looks like I finally have it going on both ends. If you're having any trouble logging in on Facebook, you can head over to my YouTube channel. It looks like I am working pretty good over there. Sorry to everybody that showed up right on time. Leave it to me to have my Facebook privacy on total lockdown. So it was quite a struggle for me to get my video going because I don't want any creepers watching me all the time. Anyway, I'm so excited to be doing this today. I am recreating my clown makeup from when I was on tour with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, the greatest show on earth. And as you know, I'm still clowning all the time at the hospital as Dr. Billy, but I am super excited to slap back on the grease paint, like we used to say back in the day. So I had quite a quarantine beard going on before this shoot. So, like I like to do, I shaved right before I put my makeup on, so it is as smooth as a baby's bottom. All right, so now that I am all shaved up and ready to go, the first thing I am going to start with is my white. People always joke about how the circus clowns always use their fingers when they're doing their makeup, and it's true. I love to use my makeup, to do my makeup with my fingers. So first I'll put a little scoop here on my hand and I'll let the makeup sort of warm up on my hand so that way it's a little bit easier to apply and I'm not being really wasteful with the product. It only takes a couple of seconds to get warmed up, but once it is, I start with my eyebrows first. In the circus, we're seen from really, really far away, so we kind of just white out our eyebrows by putting the makeup into the brow. Whereas it's starting to become a trend for people to use glue sticks or Prosade to kind of like glue these babies down. But in the circus, because we were so far away, we didn't really need to glue it down. If I were to go back and do it again because I was meeting guests face to face during pre-show, I might consider like gluing down my eyebrows or using Prosade in the future. When I am putting on my white, I never really like to like streak the makeup or drag my finger along. So you'll see that I do a lot of patting. But I have a step that comes after this, so I don't have to be super neat with my white because I will clean it up with my base in a little bit. As you can see, I'm carrying the white down to the side of my eye and then slightly underneath. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want my eye to look as big as possible. I'll say it 1,000 times. When you're in the circus, you're being seen from really far away. So the name of the game is to exaggerate all the features so they can be seen from as far away as possible. I'm kind of done with my white over here. So I'll be moving over to the other side next. But something that always amazes me is the precision that you can get with your finger, with the fingertip. So it's really hard for me to use brushes. You'll see later on in my makeup that I use a brush to do my eyebrows, but that's because I want like a really nice thin brow, not a big chunky finger brow. I wish I could hear everybody. It's so nice to see all the comments and waves coming through. So hi everybody that's watching on Facebook, all my dear friends and family. And hi everybody that's watching on YouTube too, from all around the world. Leave me in the comments where you are calling from right now. I want to see where people are calling in from. Listen to me calling in. God, talk about dating myself, making me sound old. Oh. I was running a little bit low on my white, so I kind of just threw a little bit more on my hand, and I use this as like a little palette that I can pull from to get the makeup from my face. Lots and lots of padding. Looks like some people are calling me trash in the comments, but that is totally fine. Bring it on. Nothing like going live and not being trolled, am I right? Troll on. Speaking of trolls, I love the soundtracks. And the Trolls World Tour soundtrack just came out. And if you haven't heard it, it slaps, you guys. It slaps. All right, I am done with my white. As an Auguste clown, which means that I let areas of my flesh show through from behind the white, I'm pretty minimal with the white that I do throughout my face. But because I'm done, I'm going to just wipe this off my finger now. So I have this finger that I can use for the rest of my makeup. This is just a simple baby wipe. I get them at the grocery store or whatever. But I love them because they have they're sensitive and they have aloe and cucumber and cooling effects in them as well. So, you know, I love that stuff. Okay, so I'm all cleaned up. Next, I'm going to be moving on to my base. A great way to have a nice polished clown makeup is to make sure that you are applying a base. When I first started, my base was way too light. So underneath the lights, it kind of just washed out and would blend in with my white. So later on in my circus days, after really studying my face and my makeup, I went a little bit darker with my base. And under the lighting, it makes me look like I've got a nice California glow instead of glow in the dark colored skin like a vampire. All right, so I'm using a makeup sponge for this. It helps me just apply the surface area a little bit better instead of using an index finger and kind of doing my whole face that way, or taking a handful of the makeup and smearing it all over my face like a white face clown might do. A white face clown is a clown that covers their entire face, and technically I believe that they should have their hands and stuff covered with white gloves as well. Basically, the name of that game is not seeing any of their flesh. And a white face clown is usually a higher status clown. And what I mean by higher status is that they're more the boss. They're the ones in charge of the scene that's going on. As you'll see, I'm using this base and I'm feathering it down into my neck. My beard comes down onto my neck, so I really want to cover any of that blueness that comes through from my facial hair. This stuff covers pretty good. I used this same base when I was working at Disneyland too. I always had to cover my beard when I had that gig because obviously little boys don't have beards. But it's all for the magic, am I right? Okay, so I'm done covering my beard area down here, so I'm going to go up into my forehead. You will see that I use the edge of my makeup sponge to kind of carve out the white around my lines, around my eyes, and it does a great job of giving me a nice, really straight, clean line there. I also have a lot of lines in my forehead as well. So you'll see that I cut the white below this lower line because that's where I'll put my eyebrows. So here we go. There, and just carry that down. As you see, it just gives me a nice, really clean line there. And I love clean lines. Because if you know me, you know that I do not like messy makeup. Especially clown makeup. Because it starts to make you a little scary. Sorry if I'm bursting your bubble. I'm carrying this base back into my hair just a little bit. Because when I've got my wig on, I want to make sure I have that nice seamless look and not a mask of makeup on. Using the sponge to carve down on the inside and get nice and into the corner of my eye. Next, I'm going to go underneath my eye and drag it down. Oh, my eyes. They look disgusting. I'm just kidding. Love my eyes. All right, so what I'm using to apply my base is a Mayron cream stick blend. It sets really nicely with powder. It comes in tons and tons of different shades. So I recommend that you go to a theatrical makeup store and help them match your skin tone, just like you would at a regular makeup store or something like that, but it will help give a more natural looking base. I think something that is falling into bad practices or olden days is somebody that uses a really scary pink Auguste color for the entirety of their makeup. If it were up to me, I would recommend that you use a more natural base and then use the Auguste color to highlight and enhance your face a little bit more, which you'll see me do next because I'm practically done with my base already. All right, awesome. Okay, like I was just saying, I'm now going to go in with this pinkier Auguste color, and this is going to help give my face more color, and I'll look more healthier and vibrant underneath the lighting because you'll see those contrasting colors between my base and this pinkier color here. I'm not going to be using a whole lot of this, and I'm going to be putting it right on the balls of my cheeks. So I am going to just use this cream stick blend here and just put it right on the apple of my cheek. Or balls, as I just said. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be blending this in. So that's really all I need to do there is throw that base on. Oh, I almost forgot. I like to put a little bit here on my nose and here on my chin too. And then I blend all that in. I've got my little finger here that I start blending it in on my chin. And what I'm doing now is I'm just blending the other base that I have that's called Warm Honey with my pinkier Auguste. I don't want it to be too noticeable, but if somebody were examining my face, they would see that I have multiple colors of flesh. Patting around to make that have a nice soft blend. And then I'm going to take my finger and just swoop it up my cheekbone. And that's going to help also give me like a really slight little contour. Not a whole lot, but going over to the other side. I like my makeup to be really symmetrical. I think there is a beauty in people who have asymmetrical makeup, but I like everything to be nice and neat. I think that's probably the graphic designer in me, is that I like to have a lot of open space and a nice clean application. Last step for my base is going to be just blending in this pink onto the bridge of my nose. Okay, got that all in. See, you can barely even see it. So why do I bother? Because somebody will notice. Somebody like me. Alrighty. I've got that makeup cleaned off of my fingers. So next up, I'm going to do a nice quick little powder to set everything that I've got on my face right now. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add those embellishments like my brows, my lips, and then some powder rouge cheeks and stuff as well. Okay. For my powder, I just use a nice fancy old sock that I've got and fill it with powder. before I do the powder, I'm going to go back to my eyelids and look around my face, maybe on my forehead where I've got those lines, and I'm going to just smooth everything out so I'm not setting any lines. I want everything to be nice and smooth. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, ready to hit it with some powder. Had some lines on my eyelids, which I don't want, so I just smoothed those out, and now I'm going to powder my eyes. Getting my forehead. Okay, I'm all powdered up. Next, I'm going to use the little residual powder that I've got on my hands, and I'm just going to go through to my makeup, and I'm going to just pat it in and set that powder in there nice and good. As I was going over my eyebrows, I felt that my eyebrows were still a little moist. So I'm going to repowder there to make sure that makeup doesn't lift. Lovely. Okay. Now I've got my powder all done on my face, so I'm just going to use a regular soft makeup brush and brush off all the powder. Because the makeup is set, I can be a little bit more rough now. I don't have to be so gentle with the makeup because it should not be going anywhere. Sometimes I take extra long to do this part just because it feels good. All right. Powder is all brushed off. So next, I am going to move on to my blue that I do on my eyelids. This is a grease makeup that I've got here, and the reason I use grease makeup is so that it sets with the powder and does not go anywhere. Once it applies, you can rub your face, you can get spit in the face, you can get a pie in the face, and remove that stuff, and your makeup should still be there. So that's why I wear grease paint. I've had this little cup here for years and years and years. It just goes to show how little product I actually use to apply my makeup. Everything that I do buy lasts me forever because I'm not wearing a ton of makeup like you might picture in your head when you picture a clown. And that's just the way I like to do things. I think, there's room for all of us, but I prefer to be a clown that doesn't wear a crap ton of makeup on my face. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a ton of makeup on, as you saw with my face and everything, but to the eye, really all you're seeing right now is the white around my eyes. Okay, so I've got the blue here on my finger, and I'm going to go on my lid, and I'm going to go all the way up to underneath my eyebrow, and I'm going to kind of just fill this whole space right here with the blue. I use the blue because it helps the blue from my eyes show, so keep an eye out on that, and let me know in the comments if you can see how the blue in my makeup pulls out the blue in my eyes. The blue on my eyes is probably the element of my makeup that makes most people confused about my gender as a clown. I've got to be honest. There are so many times that I've been fully done in clown, and I have been called the wrong gender, which is totally fine. As you know, I kind of am all over the place, so you can call me whatever you want. Clowns aren't like that sexual and stuff as well, so I don't really think that gender is that important in the whole grand scheme of things. Okay, so I've got one eye done, and I'm going over to the other side now. And getting this blue on. I make some lovely faces doing my makeup, don't I? So here I want it to be a really nice round shape, blended over here on the side, so that way it's not too harsh. All right, so I've got the blue on my eyelids done. I'm not going to need that anymore, so I'm going to clean this finger off. And next, I'm going to do eyeliner. I've been using this pencil for a long time. There's barely anything left. Oh. But I'm going to do this same color blue right on my waterline. I don't do mine below my eyes. I do it right on my waterline, just like any gal would do with her eyeliner. I'm going to pull it away from my eyeball to kind of give me a little bit of extra room to do that. And after doing this for so long, my eye doesn't freak out anymore. Okay, so I've got the eyeliner on there. Ooh, looking so nice. Going over to my other side. As you can see, I'm only drawing my eyeliner to the center of my eye. If I did go all the way into the end, it would close my eye. And the reason I'm doing all this makeup is to make my eyes look bigger. So to close anything off and make it smaller is defeating the purpose. So that's why I only go to the middle of my eye. Okay. I've got my eyeliner done now. It's coming together. Next step is going to be my eyebrows. Got another little grease paint cup here. I have had this same grease paint since clown school in 2004. I have not had to buy a single cup of black my entire career. This was even included in the cost of going to clown school. So talk about making it last. I'll take the makeup and then I'll then put it on the inside of the cap. And the reason I'll put it on the inside of the cap is because I don't want to use a lot, and it gives me the ability to spread the makeup around and only put the amount on the brush that I truly need. I've got a nice thin end of the brush here, and that's what I'll use to draw on my brows. Now let's talk about my brows for a second. As I mentioned already once before, I have all of these lines in my forehead, and I have to be very careful about where I'm placing my eyebrows because I don't want any of my lines to disappear in these creases. So I'm going to be placing my eyebrow right above my regular brow and inside this white space, and I'm essentially just going to trace along the top of my regular brow with the black. One last thing. I also have like a little dimple right above my eyebrow. So I'm going to place the end of my eyebrow right on that dimple. So that way when I'm making all of these expressions, my eyebrow line is going to raise and lower and bend. You can even see like part of it happening in my white when I do that. Okay, here we go. Okay, nicely gently applying this. The black is really hard to cover up, so let's not mess this up. Okay. didn't give me a nice clean line, so I'm just going to throw on a little bit more makeup and trace back over that so I've got a nice clean solid line. That's better. I could talk doing most of my makeup, but I can't really talk doing my eyebrows. Okay, so I've got one brow down. Now on to the next. Excuse me. Okay, almost done with my brows. And let's do some touch-ups. Okay, brows are kind of done. I'm kind of like flying through this right now because I don't have somebody else sitting right next to me yakking my ear off like I used to. Typically, I am somebody that is getting ready all the way up until the last second, like buttoning up my costume as the curtain is opening and I'm walking out. You think that I would stop doing that, but it's just who I am. And that's also part the blame of why I was late starting the live feed because I waited until it's time to start to open the stuff up. And anyway. Okay, so I am done with my eyelids and my eyebrows. Next, I'm going to go and work on my lips. The reason I'm focusing on my eyes and my lips is because that's the part of my face that I'm really emoting with. So I want to add those exaggerated features onto my eyes and onto my lips. You don't really do a whole lot with your nose, so I guess that's why we just cover it. Alrighty, next I am moving on to the lip. I use a grease pencil and I draw a really nice thin line right underneath my lip, and that is going to help accentuate any lip movement that I've got. Also, I only paint the bottom lip, not the top and the bottom. By only painting the bottom lip, I'm going to be able to have more mobility with my mouth than if I'm closing that line, very similar to how I would do with the eye. Okay, got that looking nice and neat. That's just highlighting my bottom lip. Next up, I'm going to put my little dots right at the top of that white line, and that's going to help enlarge my smile a little bit. I'm just using a Q-tip for this. I don't have very big dots on my mouth. So I just use the end of a Q-tip by ripping off the cotton off of one end, and it just makes the perfect little stamp to put my black dots on my mouth. All right, dragging the end of the Q-tip through the black. Don't have very much on there, and that's how I want it. Next, I'm going over to my lip and just going to stamp it on. There's one. There's the other. Very nice. All right, next up is coming to red. I'm going to put some red on my bottom lip. The great thing about using red on your lips is that if you're wearing makeup for a really long time and it starts to come off just a little bit, you really can't tell. Whereas somebody who has a white lip or a black lip, over time they're going to have to reapply that makeup to make sure that they have that nice clean look. So it's the perk of having a red lip. Back to using my finger for this. Okay, red lip is on. It's another example of how it's so impressive, the precision that you can get just with using your finger. I got right up against that white line, no problem, just by using my finger. Talking funny right now because I haven't powdered my lips yet. Speaking of which, I am ready to powder now because I am done with all of my wet makeup. Because I've already powdered everything else, I'm kind of just going to focus on my mouth and on my eyes. I also have a lot of detail within this part, so I'm going to be very careful not to lift the makeup up and then stamp it else somewhere else on my face. So what I like to do first is put my head back and kind of just sprinkle the powder on my face to get a nice little thin layer of the powder first, and then go in with the sock and pat it down. I also want to make sure that I'm only going up and down with the powder sock, so that way if makeup does lift, I can catch it before I stamp it somewhere else. So here we go. Okay, there we go. It's set. I also want to make sure that I'm spreading my face as much as I can as well, so that way the powder is getting in all of the creases of my lips. And pat my eyelids a little bit to remove those lines like I did earlier, and just a gentle pat pat. Okay, done with the powder. Ooh, looking like the Grudge. All right, brushing this stuff off. Try to set it real quick. All right, lovely. Now I'm brushing it away with the lines of my makeup. So again, if there are any little bits of makeup that's still wet, I'm drawing it into the shape instead of destroying everything that I've just done. Brush the powder out from inside my ears. Okay. So I still have a little bit of residual powder that's still on there. I'm going to let that bake for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to go in with a baby wipe and kind of just pat everything down and enhance the color of the makeup a little bit more. In the meantime, I'm going to move over to some powdered rouge and other elements that I use to enhance the look now. All right, so next I'm going to move over to a Nectar Peach Ben Nye Powder Rouge. This is something that I'm going to go over on my cheeks just to give myself a little bit of extra color. Just using a regular blush brush for that, and patting on the apples of my cheeks and pulling it up my cheeks. Same on my nose. I'm going to be hitting all those spots that I did with the Auguste pink earlier with this powder. There we have it. All done with the Nectar Peach Powder Rouge from Ben Nye. Next, I'm moving on to Cocoa Rose Powder Rouge from Ben Nye. This is going to give me a little bit more of the red to my cheeks. I also have more of this kind of like berry looking wine color because I like the unique color that it gives my face. So I'm just patting the little brush on there and then doing just the apples of my cheeks this time. You can see that I'm forcing this shape right now because I want to make sure that I'm covering the apple of my cheek with that nice round shape. And then once I'm done, I'll do a real gentle swoop up to kind of blend those colors just a little bit. And then I'll tap my nose, tap my chin, and just carry through a little bit of that color on my cheeks and on my chin and nose. Next, I am all done with adding my rouge color onto my cheeks. So I'm going to go back to the baby wipe now, and I'm going to touch everything up. Being careful not to use the dirty parts. I'll use the baby wipe now, and I'll kind of just pat my lips and pat around on my face to lift up some of that residual powder and let the more of the color come through. Okay. I also have some makeup on my nose tip right now, and because I'm going to be gluing on a prosthetic nose, I want to remove that makeup that's there so that way the adhesive can adhere directly onto my skin and not the makeup, because if I skip that step and I'm working a long day, the clown nose will start to eventually fall off because I didn't remove that makeup. But if you do this step, it will stay on for the entirety of the day. I know how much glue I need to put on my nose, so I'm only going to be cleaning off the makeup from my nose to make room for that space. It's really just the tip of my nose. I can barely even see it. Okay. I'm also going to go back to my lips, and I'm going to clean up my upper lip. And remove my makeup from there. Okay. Next, I'm going to bite down on this pack of bobby pins because my bottom lip has a little bit of chunked up powder and makeup on the very inside of my lip. And when I bite down on something like an envelope or 8.5 by 11 piece of paper or this piece of cardboard, it's going to leave that residue on the paper and it will make my makeup look cleaner. There we go. There we have it. Nice clean lip. Oh, last but not least, I'm going to clean all of the powder and makeup off of my eyelashes. This is a tip that I always try to share with people when I'm doing my makeup or teaching clown makeup, because I think that is such an important part to a nice, clean, polished look, is cleaning off all of the powder and makeup off of your eyelashes. Like I was talking about before, the makeup is to make your eye look big. Well, if I leave a bunch of white makeup on my eyelash or powder on my eyelash, it's going to have that closing effect and making my eyes look smaller than I had intended. So I'm just going to use the baby wipe and just pull my lashes gently to get the makeup off. I also have really long natural lashes, so if I leave the makeup on, it just like looks so clunky and yuck. So this is a must do, in my opinion, for clowns, is cleaning the makeup off of your lashes, especially white faces. PSA. Okay, so I'm done kind of touching everything up now. I'm going to glue on my nose and then do my glitter. Okay. This is a Torbot bonding cement. It is a prosthetic adhesive. It stings like a mofo, but over time you start to get used to it. But this glue is so intense that it's what somebody would use to glue on a prosthetic arm and not have to worry about it falling off. So naturally, that's what I want for my clown nose too. So just using this bonding cement and applying it here onto the very tip of my nose. And the way that this bonding cement works is that the adhesive glues itself to the adhesive. So I'm going to go to my clown nose, and I'm also going to put the glue on the inside of my clown nose too, so that way it can glue itself to the glue. Just using a Q-tip so I'm not overdoing it with the glue. If you overdo it when you put the nose on, it will start to seep out the sides and it dries white. So I don't want anybody to be able to see my nose glue. I've got it all in the inside of my clown nose. I'm going to give it just a few seconds to get more tacky before I stick it onto my nose. So in the meantime, I'm going to get my glitter ready. Here's my little cup of glitter. It's this really pretty pink, blue, iridescent color. It is Wolf Effects glitter, and it's an ultra fine glitter. So that way it's going to be sparkling 10 times more than a big chunk of glitter. Same thing with crystals too. The smaller the crystal, the more it sparkles. All right. Got my glitter all set, so let's throw on my nose real quick. When I'm putting on my nose, I kind of spread the ends just a little bit before I put it on, and I hook it on the top and then fold down the sides and press it on real good. And there you have it. Now the clown nose is glued on. From my experience as a professional clown, this is the thing that most people are scared of. So in my medical clowning career, I have moved away from wearing a big clown nose like this because I have found that I'm a little bit more approachable and people are less scared of me as a clown when I don't have this big honkin' nose on. So now that I've got the nose and everything else done, one of my last final touches that I do is adding some glitter onto my bottom eyelid. I'm just gonna tap the glitter with my Q-tip and just put a little bit on there and then stick that onto the blue makeup that I put on my bottom eyelid. One time I was doing my makeup, messing around with my bestie Taylor, and we had a glitter in every single color, white glitter, blue glitter, red glitter, and we did our entire clown makeup just using glitter. It was awesome. I'm gonna have to redo that sometime. Okay, so I've got that glitter on there. I'm gonna go back with a brush now and just clean up all of the excess glitter that has fallen onto my cheeks and stuff. Had a little bit of glue start seeping out of the side of my nose, so I'm gonna go make sure and I clean that up. Okay. Great. Okay, so I am pretty much done with my makeup. I mean, I am done with my makeup. As you can see, it's pretty girly, and that's just the way I like it. I'm just playing. Okay, I'm going to put on my wig real quick for you if you want to see how that whole thing happens. First thing I'm going to have is my wig cap. I choose a flesh-colored wig cap, so that way it blends a little bit. So God forbid somebody sees underneath my blue tracks, they'll see just a flesh-colored wig cap. If you're not using a wig cap underneath your wig, like, oh, get on it. Your wig will stay so much cleaner if you have that extra layer of protection, but also being a baldy, it gives me something that I can pin the wig onto, which God knows I need. I'll also sometimes use wig tape to help glue it on, and that always helps keep it on too. All right, here it is, the infamous blue wig. To put this baby on, I'm going to just flip it upside down and line up the hairline with the end of the wig cap. Pull it down in the back. Pull my ears through the sides. Make sure that my sideburns look nice and neat. Good to always have a little wig comb handy too, so that way you can do any little last minute touch-ups that you might need to do. And then once I've got the wig on, I've got to pin it on. So I'm grabbing a couple of bobby pins. I'll probably just use 4. Opening up the bobby pin and pinning it to the wig cap in the back. That will make it have a nice tight fit to my head. Sometimes these wigs that come down in the back have a tendency to flip out, so I want to have it pinned down so that doesn't happen to me. Just moving the hair to the side and hooking that track of the wig into the wig cap, pushing it in there. Last one, last pin. I cut and style this wig myself. This is a Lacey wig, which I think Lacey, if I'm not mistaken, has gone out of business. So thank God I bought 50 of these when I could. I bought them in other colors too, just for fun. So I have this wig in a couple of different colors too. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am done. Yeah! I've got my blue do and my blue makeup. I got everything all done, looking cute for you. This was so fun getting able to put on my wriggling face for everybody again. and I would love to know what you think in the comments. So hit me up with some comments. If you've got any questions, hit me up with some questions too. I love to think I am a clown makeup expert, so let me live that fantasy a little bit. Thank you, everybody on Facebook and YouTube, for tuning in. This was so much fun, and I hope that you had fun too. Most importantly, a big giant thank you to all of the medical staff and essential workers who have been risking their lives to keep us all healthy. And I hope that you guys are all staying home. I hope nobody that I know or any of those people that are out protesting right now, because this is for our own health and safety of everybody. So take care of your friends, take care of your family, and keep social distancing until this thing is behind us. I love everybody so much. Thank you again for tuning in, and see you next time. Bye. See ya. I think I'm just going to leave this on and look at myself for a little bit longer. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Is this not the cutest clown I have ever seen? How could anybody be scared of this? Oh my gosh. Hey, take a screenshot. Oh my goodness. Great. Now you all have a new wallpaper for your phones too. Gosh, double whammy. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Bye, YouTube.